Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Yubi Guides. And this time, we're back to Alliance. It's been quite a while. I have made these teams. They are not the fastest teams around, they're not really speedrun, but they're more safe and definitely gets you to Masters 1 or just a high enough score that you're just pretty high up and you can farm your relics as usual. So, I will go right into the teams and topics. First of all, the main team, which will consist of Schwartz or Birds, Yam, which is replaceable by Wildberry if this team feels fragile to you, feel free to use Wildberry, Macaron, Black Pearl, and Carol. The treasures will be Scroll, Sight, and Clock. Anyway, the toppings are quite straightforward. For Birds, full DR, and for Yam, also full DR. If you use Wildberry here, you also use full DR as well. And definitely if you're using Yam, try to get his candy as high as you can. For Macaron, you'll be using full cooldown, and I recommend to max out the damage resist as much as you can. If needed, you can use 3 cooldown and 2 DR here. It's totally fine. You might be a little bit slower, but your team will be a bit safer if needed. Then, for Black Pearl, we will be either using cooldown, which is what I will be using, or full attack also works, but I prefer cooldown here. And of course, try to maximize your damage resistant cooldown if you can. Then Carol, same as the other two, full cooldown, get her as high DI as you can. DR matters more than cooldown, as long as your healers or just your team stays alive, it's good. Then, for team 2, this is more of a filler team, you only use it for one wave. This can be honestly anything, but I found this to work the best. So, first of all, Wildberry. Again, if you're using Wildberry in the other team, use Yam here. Full DR. The DR doesn't need to be the highest, it's fine. And then Financier, just go full cooldown. Again, the DR does not need to be the highest, it's totally fine. And, well, I would definitely recommend a little bit of cooldown on her. Then, for Espresso, it's full attack, same for Squid Ink and for Cherry Blossom. For Espresso, you definitely want a level 10 candy, and I also recommend it for Squid, but it's not needed for them. Then the treasures will be Scroll, Feather, and Clock. Now, frame 3. This will be a summoner team that you use for field waves. Summoners are pretty good, so I definitely recommend having this team in your setup. Here, you can replace Licorice with Pomegranate if you don't have him built, but I like using Licorice because I don't get to use him very often. So for toppings, for Crunchy, I will be putting him on full crit. Full attack also works, or if we need it, put him on full DR, because in one wave he will get quite low. Then, Licorice, full cooldown. If you were using Pomegranate in his place, you would also be using full cooldown here. Just get a little bit of damage, it's not even needed, honestly. And then a bit of cooldown. For Pumpkin, she does not need to be on full DR because she does not get hit very often at all. So I have her on a mix set being 3 attack and 2 DR. Just get a little bit of DR if you feel unsafe, not having a full DR set, but it's totally fine. And then for Oyster, I will be going for a full soldier set, which mean at least 24.3% cooldown. And the DR really does not matter. Same for Cotton, I just boosted her cooldown as much as I could so that she heals more often and blocks the damage more often for Crunchy. As always, same for any summon team, the treasures will be Pincushion, Scroll, and Clock. Now, Team 4, this is for a very annoying wave, Wave 54, which has enemies from Dark Mode 14 that keep splitting and merging back together. So we were using a attack speed team to counter that. For Pinecone, you definitely want them to be higher promo than mine, if you are able to. Full attack with a lot of DR subs, very important. And definitely get attack speed on them because you want them to get the ropes bonus. Then DCA, full DR, you could honestly even put him on full attack. He's not gonna get targeted very much during this wave, but I still like using him on full DR because you use him again a bit later and then I would like to have him survive. Then, your Werewolf, I recommend full crits, but full attack could also work. Just have a little bit of DR subs on it, of course. Then, Karma Arrow, I will be using 3 attack and 2 crits. You could also replace the 2 crits with 2 DR if you feel like she's too fragile and just not surviving at all. Definitely do focus on the DR subs a bit. She could use a little bit of cooldown, but not as much that she would steal the ropes bonus from either Pinecone or Werewolf. Then, Eclair, I will just be putting him on full attack with some DR subs. The enemies on wave 54, they target the cookie with the highest attack, and we want them to be targeting Eclair, so he can just die, he can be a lovely sacrifice. Then, for treasures, it will be scroll, ropes, and sight. I have tried to mess with these treasures a little bit, but I found that these work the best to kill the blobs. Then, Team 5 is a burst team that is again only used on one wave, so you could definitely switch it around a little bit if you want to use one of these cookies in your other teams. Then, I will be using milk. The candy is not required, so level 1 is enough if you want to use the candy, with some DR subs definitely on full DR, not full attack. Then Sherp, you can put him on full attack if you want to, but I just have mine on full cooldown because that's what he has on already. Just make sure he has a little bit of DR subs. Then same for Caviar, just make sure he has a little bit of DR subs and on full attack. I don't think the cooldown is necessary, I just happen to have it. Same for Rai, just get her on full attack. I don't even have DR on her, I recommend a little bit, just so you don't pop the revive and waste it on her. Just maximize attack and crit for her. Then Almond, it's Toppings, they don't matter. Look at the DR, it's pitiful. As long as he survives, you're good to go. And for the treasures, we'll be using Scroll, the Sacred Fork, because it boosts the damage a bit, and because we can't use Slingshot due to weird timing. And, of course, Crimsight. There we go. This team should definitely get you Masters 1. If you are dropping out of M1, maybe try changing your main team a bit to be less defensive and more offensive by, for example, replacing Schwartz with, I don't know, any other damager like Clotet or Sea Fairy. Anyway, let's go in.
peace and justice. Take back is not
The right to remain silent!
Well, that was an awkward finish. Usually Yam doesn't do that, but yeah, here you go. This team is relatively safe. Well, a lot safer than most other speedrun teams, so I hope this will definitely be helpful to you. That's not the monster I want to book it.
That was a wonderful journey.
I'll just cut right to the laps so you can compare this to your own stats, see if it's possible for you. But it's definitely worth trying to push your guild rank a bit higher up, and your own rank of course. So yeah, that'll be all for me. So thank you for watching, hope this was helpful, and see you on the next one. Goodbye!